Let me go ahead and screen share with you guys. Now, if you've taken a class with just me before, you know that I'm all about the aesthetic and I'm all about Canva, all this fun stuff. Can you guys see my screen okay? You can see my Canva? Fantastic. Tina, I'm relying on you because you're my homie. And I'm like, if Tina can see it, then I'm going to assume
Okay.
everyone else can see
All
it.
looking good. Okay. I'll be quiet
Yeah.
until you ask me a question.
Perfect, perfect. So we can see everything here. So as Eve was getting those value bombs, I was copying and pasting them into a note file. That's what I would suggest that you guys do as you're going through this process, just so you have everything in one place. Now, there's two ways to go about what I'm going to show you. And I'm going to assume that, I'm not going to assume that everyone has Excel, but does everyone have Excel? Do we all use Excel kind of? I can show you the manual way. I will show you the manual way. And I don't have the chat up, so give me just a second to make sure that I'm following. Yes, or Google spreadsheets, that's awesome. Anything that you have that can export into like a CSV would be great. So I'm going to show you the first way, and then I'm going to show you the second way. The first way is to use Excel. So first thing we're going to do is, I already have my handy dandy Excel spreadsheet open here, book 2. And I'm going to just literally copy and paste everything in that note file. So every single one of those value bombs that you created, just throw it in a note file for yourself so you have them. Clean up where it said call to action here. And if you remember that from what ChatGPT said, we want to make sure that we get rid of that and we just get the text that we need, okay? So now that I have all of my 5 value bombs, I'm going to create a spreadsheet. Just like on the Food Network, boom, it's already done. It's amazing. And my title, I'm going to call it Value Bomb. It's really important that you title these columns specifically and intentionally, and I'll show you why in just a second. So make sure that this is called Value Bomb. I'm going to click on the second cell, copy and paste in all of that information. So, and actually, we're going to have to clean it up even further. So this is good. This is good when I make mistakes on camera in front of an entire class. I love this for me. What I'm going to do is make sure that there's no superfluous lines, okay? So I'm going to get rid of all of this. Can you guys see how I'm doing my formatting here? Yeah, thank you, Tina. So I'm going to clean up all of this. I'll get rid of all of these. Good. Thank you, thank you. I'm going to get rid of all of these quotes and stuff because that's how ChatGPT gave it to us. So this is good. If it works that way for you, if it doesn't pop things out the way you want it to, just go ahead and clean it up the way I'm doing it. And that way, basically what we're trying to do is to get this to fit all on one line in Excel. So we're just going to clean up. And actually what I might do is even bring that in, make it all on one line so that we are not stressed out about anything. Right? Because no one...
Hey, Crystal, just so you know, I'm back. If you need, I'll watch the chat.
Oh, phenomenal. Yay. Welcome back. You guys, Eva's back. I was like, I'm just going to move on to Canva and we'll come
that's why there's 2 of us that do this, because my internet just went poof.
That is okay. That is totally okay. All right. So I am going to, so where you leave the spaces, you guys, Excel's going to read that as like going down to the next line. So just leave a space in between. I had some formatting issues that worked out really nicely as a learning moment or teaching moment. Okay, so now we have things cleaned up. Let's pop it in here. And it's still giving me spaces. That's fine. We'll go in and delete them manually. So we just want 1 on each line because what this does effectively is it gives me a value bomb per row on the Excel spreadsheet. Does that make sense, you guys? How like you can kind of, great, okay. So now that this is done, titled correctly, we have all of the information exactly where we need it. We're going to save as, and I'm going to give it some fun, like weird thing that I can access very quickly. So I'm going to do, let's call this 01 again. I just like to title that so that when I'm teaching, it's like at the top of my files. Great. Okay. Let's go to Canva. Does everybody have Canva? If you don't have Canva, this is going to be kind of boring for you. I don't know how useful it's going to be, but it'll be fine. So we're going to go into Canva. This is what your home screen looks like, and you're going to click on Instagram. I like to use Instagram. You can also use Facebook. I just like getting a square, right? Because what we're ultimately doing is creating a square. You can use the Facebook. You can use the Instagram. We'll use Facebook just for the sake of demonstration. So what this does is it automatically gives us a file that we can work in that is the size that Facebook likes. Now, what we're going to do is, you know, when you guys write a value bomb or anything on Facebook and it gives you that gradient background, it kind of gives you that colorful background. We're going to mimic that here by using a background in Canva. So I'm going to go up here to Element and I'm going to search for gradient. Clearly I did a test run on this yesterday. And here we go. So I'm going to go to Photos and it's going to give me a ton of gradients that I can use, that I can pull in. So pick whichever one you like. You know, Facebook does some that look like this, do some look like this. I'm a these vibes kind of girly. I'm going to set this as my background. Does that make sense? Everyone tracking so far? Feeling good? Thumbs up? Amazing. Awesome, awesome. I just like to do a temperature read every once in a while. Okay. The next thing we're going to do, again, to mimic Facebook, and when you do this, by the way, we're taking time to teach it, but it does go very quickly. You're just going to click on your text and you're going to write the word value bomb. This is where titling things in your spreadsheet becomes very important because we are going to associate that column named value bomb with this text that we're writing. Does that make sense? So I'm going to write the word value bomb and I'm going to move it up a little bit. If you want it to look very native to Facebook, I would suggest Helvetica. This is a font that is in every version of Canva. And we're going to bold it because Facebook likes to bold things. Tracking? Cool? Cool. Okay. So now this is where the fun stuff comes. So we did all of those 5 value bombs. We now have our graphic. We have our text in there. And we're going to the fun stuff. So we're going to go down to this section here called Apps. We're going to open it. Now, if you can find bulk create, it's usually right here. If you can't find it for some reason when you open your Canva and you don't see it, you can always go up here and just type it in, bulk create. And it will pop up right here. So we're going to click on that. Okay. Now you can see there's 2 ways to do this. We're going to do the upload version at first, then we're going to do the manual. So I'm going to click on upload data and I'm going to grab my CSV that I saved as an Excel spreadsheet. So sorry, hang on 1 second. I'm going to redo that really quick, just so I make sure. You can do it as an Excel. I should have done it as a CSV. My bad, you guys. Save it as a CSV. Just makes your life a little easier. And upload. And there it is. That's the value bombs that he just created. Hit enter. And so what it's done is it's taken the data on the spreadsheet and it's now in Canva. So here's the fun part. Click on the words value bomb. You see how this little menu just popped up? Connect data. Again, going back to why it's important. See here over on the side, it says value bomb. It's taking the column name and associating it, right? So it knows the first column is value bomb. So we tap on value bomb, we do connect data, and it's pulling from the spreadsheet that first row where the titles are called value bomb, and we're going to attach it, okay? And then we're gonna hit continue. So now you can see that it's imported all of that data that we just created together, that you've created in GPT. All 5 of them. You want to make sure that they're all selected. Then we're going to click generate 5 designs. It has opened a new document. And there's our value bombs. All 5 of them. Just like that. Isn't that amazing? I feel like Ron Popeil. I'm like, and it's done. Set it and forget it. If you want to, you can always go in and do a little formatting, but effectively, all of that is done. You can save these out and you are good to go. So we're going to just give things a little space. So you can see you all done Canva before, right? So you can go in there, you know how to edit things, but it takes so much time out. So you can do, imagine we just did 5, imagine doing 20, imagine doing 15, you know. There's so many things that you can cut time with by doing this. So there are our 5. Now I'm going to show you guys the other way, just for those who don't have Excel. If anyone's watching on the replay and you're like, I don't have Excel, I don't have Google spreadsheets. What is a spreadsheet? I hate spreadsheets. I worked in corporate for too long and I hate spreadsheets. All valid things to say. Let's go back to our original doc. And I'm going to just X out of this. So again, we're starting off with our, actually, let's change the background just so we have a visual differentiation here. Let's go with aggressive red. Sounds good. Yes, aggressive red. Aggressive red it is. That's going to stop the scroll and also incite rage into your people. It would be great. Go back down to apps. Bulk create again. Okay, now we're gonna do enter data manually again for people who don't have spreadsheets. I actually like doing it this way too. I do feel like it's just as fast, if not a little faster. It's going to give you this screen where you can add the data. It's gonna give you like examples basically. So you can clear that again. Always make sure that we're titling things what we want them to be on the document. Does that make sense? So where we put value bomb in the first row on the spreadsheet, we're gonna mimic that here. Again, click on your first thing, and we're going to delete these out. Delete row. So now actually we know, now that we have done this several times, that if you leave a space, it will take everything as a row. So just clean that up. So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all your value bombs are there. You have your title, and we're going to hit done. So now what it's done is effectively it's acting as if we had uploaded that document again. We're going to click on value bomb, connect data. It knows, right? Actually, I disconnected it, so we're going to reconnect. Connect data value bomb. So it's purple when it's selected. Continue. Make sure everything is selected. Generate 5 designs. It's going to open again. Tra-la-la. And we have our value bombs. So again, do a little formatting just to make sure it looks good, just like you would. You wouldn't necessarily, like you've mentioned, copy and paste these out of GPT. You'd want to personalize them and all of that. But effectively, all of your graphics are done. You'll hit share, you'll hit download. Download is a ping. Download all your pages, however many you want, and then you will be good to go. And then effectively, you now have 5 value bombs that you can schedule, do whatever you want to do with, make all your money, and go forth and be fabulous and rich. So that. Is Eve back? Is Eve still here? Did I lose her?
I am still here. Did you show them how to do it? Not because I got kicked out again. My internet's really wonky this morning. Do you have, did you already show them how to do it without Excel?
That was without Excel just now.
Oh,
we started with
perfect.
Excel, then we went into not Excel. And I feel like we did the lovely purple version was the nice soothing Excel version, and then the aggressive red was the manual version. So we are rocking and rolling.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll go back to GPT, and if I get kicked out again, Crystal will have to kind of. What's that?
I can't help them because the conversion multiplier, that's all you. I said, if Eve's gone, I can take you as far as Canva. There we go.
Well, I'll verbally walk you guys through it right now, so then you can do it in the thing, and then I'll still show you. So what I was going to show you before is you would literally just cut and paste that template into your chat thread in the value bomb and ask it to create a script based on that. And so I will share my screen again and try it. Sorry, I'm in my parents' garage. I don't know if you can tell this is a fake background. So I think my internet's just a little wonky. But anyway, so share that again, and we'll go back up. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Okay, so it did do it. I think I got kicked out right as I was copying it into it. And then it said, okay, so this is using Laurel's template, the script it gave us. Struggling to convert traffic into paying customers despite consistent marketing efforts. The conversion multiplier tool will double your conversion rate in just 30 days by optimizing every step of your funnels. Drop the word multiply below and we'll send you the tool today. This tool breaks down your current funnel, identifies weak points, and provides actionable tweaks to maximize conversion potential. If you want to start seeing more sales without increasing your traffic, drop multiply below. By implementing this tool, you will see significant increase in your conversions within 30 days, turning more of your hard-earned traffic into loyal customers. So it pretty much just took Laurel's template and just did it. And again, you can prompt it and say, now write this script in third person and follow Facebook best practices.
Hey, Eve, can you scroll up a little bit and show everyone that you were able to copy and paste in the template so they know that we have we're working from a specific framework?
Oh, did that get cut off? Did I get jumped out before then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So sorry, you guys. So what I did is, so after I picked which value bomb that I wanted to create it from, and then I just took Laurel's template that is available in her $7 program, and literally just cut and paste the template. I didn't even fill it out. If you fill it out, you're going to get a much more specific script to you. So you can do both. I didn't even fill it out, trying to make this as easy as possible, because a lot of times it's just easier to actually just have something and then go off of it. So I just cut and paste, and I said, great, let's go with number 1. Now I want you to use this framework, and that's the template from Laurel's program, and create a script for my conversion multiplier. And then I cut it in, and that's where then it created this script for you guys. You can do the same thing using her power content, right? So that's just another one that we'll do. So I'm just going to go back to handy dandy. I pulled these onto my thing. This is the power content. Again, I got this straight off of Laurel's $7 program. I began to fill it out, right? So I'm going to show you 2. I'm just going to show what it does if I just cut and paste the template. I'm not going to do what I filled out. I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to say, move you guys around so I can see my chat. Say, okay, great. Now I want you to create a power content script using this framework. And I'm just literally going to, again, cut and paste it in. Cross your fingers, no whammies, no whammies. I don't get booted.
Stop. It didn't copy all of the it didn't copy all of it.
It's still copying. Let's see.
See, it got as far as value bombs. So go back to your power content doc.
Yeah.
And it only went as far as the first 3. It didn't get the humble brag down.
Oh, I see, because it even looks like it didn't copy that. Let's see. Let's try this again. So humble brag. Just go use the actual copy. And it's interesting. I think you're seeing something different than me, because let's see, value bomb. And then I'm just going to go like that. There we go. And I'm just going to X out of that, because sometimes that you don't need it. And sometimes I think that really slows it down, and go. Why your marketing efforts aren't converting and how to fix them in 30 days. I'm going to show you how to double your conversion rate without spending more on ads or generating more traffic. I wouldn't say introducing, I would change this, but I have a conversion multiplier tool, a resource that pinpoints and optimizes the weak spots in your sales funnel, accelerating your path to higher conversions. After helping 100 entrepreneurs increase their sales by 200%, that's not quite true, but we'll go with it, because I would change that, right? I've seen firsthand how small tweaks can lead to massive results. That is possible. That is possible to significantly increase their conversion rate without seeing more traffic. Again, following exactly Laurel's thing, it says, what do they need to believe? They need to believe the only way to make more sales. So this is where it kind of went off the rails, because we obviously wouldn't say it. So you just say, you just need to make more sales. The only way to make more sales is to get eyes on their offer they've experienced. So here it totally went off the rails with what the experience, their belief. So I would say, great. Let's try this again and write the script as if I am saying it to them. Okay, so this is much better already, even from the headline. Here's why your marketing efforts aren't converting and how you can fix it in 30 days. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to double your conversion rate without spending more time on ads. I've created something called the conversion multiplier. Laurel would say to hold it up and say, here, this document right here shows how you can pinpoint and optimize and the weak spots in your sales funnel. I've helped over 100 entrepreneurs increase their sales by 200%. I need you to believe, and again, I would tweak this, that it's absolutely possible to significantly boost your conversion rate without needing any specific track, not without needing more traffic. Right now, you might be thinking, again, this is how you get ahead of their pain points. The only way to do more sales is to get eyes on your offer. I know you've been told by countless gurus that scaling is all about increasing ad spend and driving more traffic. But what have you seen? Probably diminishing returns, right? So you're telling yourself, I need more leads, more clicks, more followers. Otherwise, I'll never hit your goals. But here's the thing, the conversion multiplier tool is going to show you that with the right amount of tweaks, you can make more sales, blah, 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 CTA. This is what you do it. So it's a nice way to just kind of start if you're having a hard time getting it. Now I want to show you, if I go back to the document, and let's say you actually filled this out, right? So I went through and said, I need content that converts. This is my headline. Give me the next 5 minutes and I'll outline, easy to follow. Again, to me, this really does a great job if you fill this out, but sometimes you still get stuck on, okay, now how am I going to say this? Because it's still in these chunks, right? So now I'm going to take and I'm going to copy and paste the headline. Let's go down and see if it will do it. And what I said, okay? So, and I'm just going to tell GPT what I did. I've now copied the framework with my answers filled in. Use this to write my power content script. Again, write the script as if I am talking directly to camera to my audience. I'm going to paste it in. Again, I'm just going to cut that out to save time. So it's still, again, going off the rails a little bit with what do you need your audience to believe? And again, you can just change that. So it's like, you don't think you can do your own social marketing? I'm going to tell you right now you can. You've probably watched webinars, tried creating content, but just don't have the time, or you don't feel like you have the skills to be effective. Or you're telling yourself you can't afford the $5,000 a month. It would cost to hire an agency. And you might just want to go back thinking that you have to go back to your 9-to-5 job. But here's the truth. My 90-day content strategy is simple to follow and has worked for all of my clients. You don't need to spend thousands or be an expert. You just need the right plan. If you're ready to start creating content that converts, I've got my step-by-step guide and Loom video that will walk you through the process. Drop the word content below and I'll send it to you today. So there's one more thing, and then I want to leave time for questions that I just want to show you guys that is a big thing if you're not familiar with this. A lot of times ChatGPT, and this is, again, I'm going to stay in this value bomb generator to show you that it's not just going to be closed around the prompts that I gave it. It's still able to kind of reach out and get you other stuff. So a lot of times what Laurel has said on her ad blitz, and she even has this in her $7 marketing thing, is that she got the framework for her power content from Joel Urway, right? So I do this all the time with my clients. A lot of what Crystal and I do, because we just don't do social media, is we run a lot of email marketing campaigns. And so depending on the campaign, I'm going to have ChatGPT or generative AI write what I want based on someone else's template or framework, right? So this is how I do it. I'll just say, are you familiar with Joel Urway's power content framework? Gonna say, yep, here it is. Very similar to Laurel. She definitely gives him credit all the time. And I'm gonna say, great. I always just say great. Crystal and I always talk about how we talk to the computer like it's a person. Great. Will you now give me a version of a power content script based off of his framework, using the number 2 value bomb? So this did a pretty good job. Are you tired of spending hours creating content and barely getting noticed? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to cut your content creation in half while producing stunning graphics and videos that grab attention. Here's the deal. Most solopreneurs and entrepreneurs spend way too much time on content creation because they're starting from scratch every time. But what if I told you there's a way to get this done in a fraction of the time? My 5-minute graphic and video template pack is specifically designed to help you churn out visually appealing content fast. With this pack, you can create eye-catching graphics and videos in just minutes, not hours. I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs slash their content creation time and double their engagement simply by using this template track. Trust me, it works. You might be thinking, but I'm not a designer. I don't have the tools for this. That's exactly why I created this pack. It's designed for non-designers and works with free tools you already have. You don't need to be a pro to make this content look professional. If you're ready to stop wasting time and start creating content that stands out, drop the word templates below and I'll send you the pack today. Start cutting your content creation time in half right now. So one of the things that I love to do with ChatGPT, because I'm not going to reinvent the wheel and I'm definitely not an expert, right? So when I watch webinars or take Laurel's stuff and Nick's stuff and all that, they'll mention a book. They'll be like, oh, you know who's a really good person at like referral systems, email campaigns, and I'll just jot it down. And then when I'm doing my next set of emails, I'll literally say, are you familiar with so-and-so's book or so-and-so's framework? And that will like trigger ChatGPT or whatever generative AI you're using to be like, yep, and reference it. And then I'm like, great, why don't you give it a go of what I'm just asking you to do based on that? Now, the caveat to that, you guys, and this is something I love creating GPTs. Crystal and I have a GPT for every single client we have. And the basis of that, and I know we've taught this before and we'll probably come back and teach it again, is that original prompt that we went over on creating your ideal customer profile and then your ideal customer avatar. That is like the base that I start with every single client. Once GPT or the generative AI has that information, then whatever I ask it to do, it's going to do it so I don't have to continually go back and type all that stuff in, because each of our clients has a different, obviously, avatar, a different tone. Crystal and I are doing a lot of the social media, or we are doing social media for the Success Finder. If you're in the Success Circle or Lean on Laurel, you know about that. I know Tina and Dan, and I see some other faces from there. So we have a very specific tone. It's not Crystal and I's tone. If you can tell, Crystal and I have a very different tone. We always joke about that. She's rainbows and sparkles, and I'm like black and white, straight edges. Very different, but it works, right? And so it works for us. And so we'll put that into each GPT, and then it's all buttoned up in there. So then whenever we get like a little tip about, hey, this person has a great format, or, again, Laurel's mentioned Joe Earlway 100 times. And so I've always gone back. I even bought his book, and then I can just say, hey, will you summarize it? Another pro tip: if you don't want to read a book, don't have time, just ask ChatGPT, are you familiar with this book? Will you give me the summary points on it? And just get the stuff out of there. So I went a little over, not giving quite 15 minutes for questions, but I'm happy to stay on a little bit later to give that. What questions do you guys have for Crystal or I about any of this stuff? You can either unmute yourself or raise your hand. And I always say, don't feel like there's any stupid questions, because I guarantee there's someone else on here that probably has that question.
You can also dance and boogie for attention, and we will call on you if that works. If that's more your jam. Okay, Tina, I saw the boogie.
Thanks for doing. I just like to dance and sing.
I raised the hand. So one question I had is, could you specify to ChatGPT that you wanted, for example, like a 3 to 5 minute video, and then have it fill in some more of the blanks? Because I've noticed for some of the prompts that ChatGPT gives me, sometimes it doesn't give me too much information, and I either have to keep writing off the back of that, or it's just not enough to work with sometimes.
Great question, Dan. So yes, you could do that. The prompt that I always give to ChatGPT, like, my framework is pretty simple. There's tons of frameworks that you can use, but I usually give ChatGPT a role. I give it a task, and then I say, do you have any clarifying questions for me? Because the more information you give ChatGPT, the better, right? So if you find that it's not giving you enough, then it's just kind of taking, I always say it's like when you're training someone to do something, they're taking in so much information that they're going to give you the best output they possibly can based on the information that they've absorbed. The nice thing about ChatGPT, it's going to absorb all the information you give it, right? So if you ask it, do you have any clarifying questions? It understands its role or its task, and then it's going to ask you. Now, the caveat to that too, you guys, are just a pro tip. You don't have to answer all the questions. A lot of times I'll just see what questions it has. And if I don't want to go into specifics, I'll just skip it and I'll just give it the information it has. Does that answer your question, or did I kind of go in a different direction?
No, I like it. I'm gonna try that. Thank you.
Thank you.
But we always say, I kind of like, and it's weird, I think we're so trained to talk to like chatbots and people on like live virtual support that when I go into GPT, I feel like I'm talking to a person. And so I try to visualize GPT, who's like George Peter Thomas. And I'm like, all right, George, here's what I need from you. Here's what I need you to do. And assume that it is a person that needs to know. It has some reference of information, but doesn't know what I need it to do. So it's like I'm training an assistant. So if you're like, this isn't good enough, impress me, right? This isn't good enough, impress me, and see what happens. Usually it calls back to mommy issues, and it's like, I'm a robot with mommy issues, and I'll do better this time, I promise. And then it gives me a better output. So here with the joke.
I think the main thing, the goal for today, and this is when Laurel and I were talking about teaching you guys this stuff, is, I think as entrepreneurs, a lot of times we get stuck in the it can be better, and I'm always saying, don't let better get in the way of great. And so Crystal and I use these tools. And again, to show you a quick way, like you could spend an hour today and create a bunch of value bombs and throw up the first one up on your Facebook, right? Get into her flywheel, just do it. And literally kind of see how that goes. And you can have 5, 10, whatever backups, and you can already have it all created and ready to go. And then when you see people start raising their hands, right? I'll continue with this thought and then I'll go back to that. Then you can literally create your conversion multiplier and get that going. Because what we've learned is her flywheel only works if you keep feeding it, right? I mean, I literally picture like a legit flywheel that's like using water to propel itself. Well, if you stop it, it's not gonna continue. And she said repeatedly, that's the number one thing that her students do that make them fail is they stop. You know, she's always like 90 days to content, 90 days to content. So we're trying to create systems and processes using AI because it's available now to do it very quickly. So you don't even have to think and you just go do it, right? Are there GPTs included? So the GPT that we showed you right now is public. So that value bomb one is public. And again, we are going to create a 2.0 version of it that then just would prompt you, if you like this, do you want me to go on and create my conversion multiplier? To actually do the power content one I'm gonna actually do a GPT for that because it is a little bit more specific in how the tone and all that stuff. But yeah, we're gonna do eventually, I know we keep threatening it, and so the more you guys scream on the in the group, the more Laura will tell us to do it. But we're going to show you how to create your own GPT. It's really not hard. It's actually so ridiculously easy that it kind of hurts. But obviously, the more advanced it is, doing that value bomb GPT was not easy. I mean, it is now looking back, but because there was so many steps to your problem and getting the GPT to really understand. Laurel's very specific about the value bomb needs to be able to be absorbed in 10 minutes. It needs to be able to be implemented in 2 days and blah, 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 blah. We got it there. It's not always perfect, but we got it there. But I want to be able to show you guys how to take, and maybe that will be the next one we do, how to take our prompts, creating the ideal customer profile, creating the ideal customer avatar, getting into some of the pain points, and then getting your tone figured out, and putting that into a GPT. So then you guys can just go into that GPT and it will know who you are. So then you could say like, hey, create me a Facebook ad using, whatever framework you want, whether it's Laurel's or depending on if you're going for your organic or you're going for your paid. Paid Laurel's framework ecosystem is perfect. But because we did Laurel social media for a while and we're doing Success Finder, you can kind of see by the way, follow us on the Success Finder. Literally everything that we do on the Success Finder, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok. That's all content from Laurel and Nick. So if you're not in the Success Circle or Lean on Laurel, that is such a good place to get all the pro tips because we're constantly interviewing the people in their circle. The whole thing is all about creating like a group of like-minded entrepreneurs and just giving straight up value. It's just straight up value. And so if you go on and follow that, I've learned so much by doing their content for them because it's like so much just valuable information. So go on and follow. We'll see an uptick today because that's where we go. But so we created a GPT for them because their tone, if you've been on any of those other Zooms and Laurel, she's straight up, she's sassy, she swears, she's going to tell it like it is. If you ask a question that you should know, she's going to tell you, right? So she has a specific tone. Nick has a specific tone, Nick Peterson. Brandon has his tone. So we've literally created kind of a tone that represents all three of them. And if I had to go in and paste that tone in every time I wanted AI to do something, it would just, you know, exponentially increase the time. So now I just have a GPT where I just go in and say, hey, do this, and it will do it and already there. All right, we're a minute past. I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes if anyone wants to raise their hand again. Questions, thoughts. Thank you, Marvin. Appreciate that. Yeah, you guys, let us know what you want to learn too. I mean, Crystal and I do, we're finally, I think in a couple months, going to open up our group again, where all we do is teach entrepreneurs how to do stuff quickly. That's, you know, we're more into content creation. We believe marketing is storytelling. My background is in storytelling. I worked in television and film for 25 years. Crystal's background is blowing up on social media. She has 500,000 followers. And so we kind of combine our efforts with that. And the thread being, we use AI to do everything. It's how she and I are able to be a two-person agency because we use AI for everything. With the guys that we understand how to do it, right? So that's what we kind of teach in our group, and it's closed right now because we're going to do it in a cohort session. And would love for you guys to join us at some point, but let us know what you guys want to learn, what you're struggling with, because it's not just, to me, marketing isn't just Laurel's ecosystem. I think that is a huge part of it, right? But you still have to have a presence on social media. Can't all be sponsored stuff. So, you know, that's what we're really good at demystifying, and happy to answer any questions today or do a whole entire thing on it.
Yeah, and Laurel
in a different one of these things.
Yeah, and Laurel says that often, that like the ecosystem isn't meant to replace your funnel, isn't meant to replace your marketing, isn't meant to replace your content. It's that push, right? It's that like final step to get you where you need to go. So you know, there's so many other pieces to it. Like Eve was talking about tone for a little bit, and a big part of what we teach is on the branding side, understanding your ideal customer, being able to talk to them. If you've ever done a presentation with us, I'm not going to pull it up now, but you know our King Charles Ozzy Osbourne meme that we refer to probably every class we do, because it's so vitally important. If you don't know about the King Charles and Ozzy Osbourne, we'll put that on the list for next time. It is a big deal, and it really illustrates very clearly why you need to understand your tone and understand your customer and how you're talking to people. So definitely let us know if that's something you're interested in. Again, I did post a replay of an ICA class that we did do a while back in the chat a couple minutes ago. You can scroll up and find it, but definitely there's a lot to it in making sure that.
Does that replay include the GPT? That's the one that we actually show how to do the customer profile and all that stuff?
I don't believe so. No, that was a private training, which I probably shouldn't be sharing publicly, but it's fine. It's totally fine.
I do think, though, there is a training in Laurel's group that is in, you know what, let me just share, because somebody asked that. We'll just find this out together. I'm going to go to Laurel's group, and if you go over to the library and scroll down to AI Accelerator, GPTs that you can use out that, right here. Prompts every content creator needs to know. So if you go to the 4 prompts every content creator should start with, that is the training that we did on the GPT, or not on the GPT, I'm sorry, on the client profile and client avatar. So she has that right there.
So Valentina, that's going to be a better one than the one I gave you. I did not know that was in there. So there we go. So I would definitely check that one out. But remember that everything that you're doing, you know, your ads bring them in, but you make them stay. Your uniqueness, what you offer, how you come across, how you talk to your people, that's really what gets them to stay, right? And supports everything that you're doing with your ads. So definitely take a look at that.
Just remember, on social media, it's meant to be social, right? And so if you have a company or your coach, whatever, like it's about you. It's not about the entity. So the more personality, I mean, I literally just had this conversation with a client who is like, is it okay if I do this? And I'm like, well, yeah, you have an opinion. Like, you want people to follow you because of who you are, not because you're trying to be something you're not because you think that's what people want, right? Nick and Laurel talk about all the time. You want to attract the people that you want. And how are you going to do that? Well, you got to be you. So if you're trying to attract people because you don't know who, then you're going to get a bunch of people that aren't your ideal client and they're not going to fit. Laurel says that all the time. She has tattoos. She swears. If you're not into that, you're not going to follow Laurel, right? She is who she is, and that's how she's become so successful because she doesn't care anymore, right? She's her. She knows she's good. She's confident. She doesn't have to put on a button-up shirt and hide her tattoos and all that stuff, which she didn't do in the corporate world either. I worked with her for many years on a television show, and Laurel's always been Laurel, so it wasn't a hard transition for her. So it's a good thing. That's why we love her, right? All right, guys. Well, I think that's it. Again, thank you for all the compliments. And again, go out and follow the Success Finder. And you'll get a lot of good value off of the posts and stuff. Nothing's fluff. It's all heavy with Nick, Laurel, and all that whole group, their philosophies, their strategies, their tactics, all that stuff. And we'll see you again last Thursday in September.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Appreciate your time.